Welcome back, gentlemen, to another season of the Fastest Fantasy Football Forum, hosted by me. And I know it looks a little weird. We're not in the setup that I said we were going to be in this year, but that's okay. It's just going to be this 1 week. We're at Aaliyah's house, and I had to get this video out for you guys because Thursdays are upload day. So recording it today and uploading it, or editing it tomorrow, uploading it the day after. That's the schedule. Got a great video planned for you guys. We're going to go through the week 1 matchups. We're going to do our picks like we have been doing the past couple years. Go through the primetime game. And then we're going to be going through the post-draft, preseason week 1, whatever you want to call it, power rankings. And I know that's going to be a popular segment. So we're actually going to get started with that. So without further ado, let's go through the power rankings. You here, guys, I'm going to bring up a roster of the teams that we're going to be talking about per each person. So let's just get started here, right into it. At number 12, guys, at number 12 this year, I have Dom's team, Mr. Dom's Girth, as he's now renamed. Still working on that logo, but the reason that I'm not a fan of Dom's the reason that Dom's team isn't my favorite is because I just don't personally think that his team is going to boom this year. Right? You have Derrick Henry, who's old. He kind of, in my opinion, had to have reached his ceiling last year. Now, I know we keep saying that, but eventually it's going to be true. Why not this year, right? Mike Evans, same deal. He's just older. I don't know if I fully trust him to continue being the 1,000-yard guy. Again, might sound stupid, but it's just the case. He limped there last year. Cooper Kupp in his flex, not great. David Montgomery is his RB2, not great. Patrick Mahomes, although the best quarterback, not the best fantasy quarterback. So that's those reasons why I'm not a big fan of this team. Looking at his bench, Justin Fields, Wan'Dale Robinson, Ramondre, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, which we still don't fully know about him. I mean, he's getting a lot of hype, but he's still not considered the starter yet. Dom is going to come in at my number 12 spot. Now, again, guys, take this whole video with kind of a grain of salt because this is going to change, and most likely drastically after week 1. I mean, it happens every year. At number 11, guys, I have the newly named Hoopskin, Tony's team. This is, again, another weird name. Another weird name. And there's Mr. Ahmad Branch as his profile picture. But anyways, just 2 teams. It's just 2 teams for Mr. Tony. It's the Lions and it's the Vikings this year. Jared Goff, Amon-Ra, and Jameson Williams as a freaking super stack. And then you have Hawkinson and Aaron Jones. In my opinion, right, he started the draft off great with Amon-Ra and A-Chan and JSN. It looked like it was going really, really well. If you could tell by the live stream video, I kind of just gave up on looking at him because I thought he was solid, and then I go back to the team after, and it's not good. It's not good because of the 2 handcuffs that he is in right now for having to watch the Lions and the Vikings this year. And do I think he's going to make trades? Yes, Tony always makes trades, but like you can't come out of a draft with 5 players on 2 teams. That's never gonna work. That's worse than Chris was last year or 2 years ago when he had all those stacks, right? So it's just not gonna work in my opinion. Besides that, though, you know, I like Chuba, I like JSN. I don't love JSN, but for the late 3rd round, I like him. You know, Chuba, like I said, I like a lot. Devon A-Chan, if he could be healthy, I like. And then Travis Etienne on the bench, I think is gonna be a really big sleeper pick this year. So. At number 10, guys, I'm going to go with Bucky's backpack. Spoiler, number 10 and number 9, probably interchangeable. But number 10, I'm going to go with Bucky's backpack. The backpack squad. I think this is the coolest name yet. Bucky's backpack. That's awesome. But the main reason that I'm going with this team at number 10 is because of the Malik Neighbors and Tyron Tracy stack. I don't know if I fully trust that. On top of the very weak flex position. Zay Flowers. Again, I think we know who Zay Flowers is at this point. He's a capped guy in that run-first offense. Do you want that upside in your flex? Not really, especially week 1. You kind of want more upside, you know? You want to have that swing. Maybe something changes, though. I don't know. J.K. Dobbins in the flex, too. That's I don't think that's good at all. Now he has Josh Down on the bench, who I think will be probably there after this week. But yeah, I don't think I trust J.K. Dobbins at all, especially late season. Kittle I like. Metcalf I think I like. I wanted him, so I hope he's good. But yeah, the Tyrone Tracy and Malik Neighbors stack doesn't look great. Bucky Irving is great, and then he has Justin Herbert commanding the ship. Great pick there. Kind of flip-flop us with number 9 if you want to, is because I have the Guardians of Your Mom's House coming in at number 9. I think the best wide receiver room in the league, and I don't think there's any argument about that, with CeeDee Lamb, A.J. Brown, Garrett Wilson, DJ Moore, and Jalen Waddle. Tons of upside there with all those players, except probably A.J. Brown, who, you know, he's going to be a capped top 10 guy, and that's fine. You know, got him second round. But the problems with this team, as everyone knows, is the tight end position. Tight end did not go according to plan. Everyone kept taking my players. I was very mad about that. Don't ever say anything about Dak Prescott. That's a great pick. Fuck you guys. That's a great pick. RJ Harvey, super unproven. We have no idea what he's going to be like now. The Broncos did cut Audric Estime, which if you remember last year, Audric Estime was the talk of the town. So I think he was a rookie too. So anything can happen in this backfield, especially with Sean Payton. He's a bag of cats. You know, you never know. So maybe RJ Harvey goes off. Maybe J.K. Dobbins gets all the work. Who knows? Kyron Williams at the running back position. That's fine. You know, it's a safe floor, not high upside. I get it. But this is, I mean, coincidentally, these guys play week 1. This will be a fun kind of thing to monitor this season. Who's going to be the first team to make a trade? I feel like one of these two teams could be that manager to make that first trade. I know I've been on the phones trying to make some trades for tight ends, and you guys are being stupid, so fuck you guys. Anyways, number 9, I'm going to give to myself. If you want to put Bucky's backpack there, or you want to flip-flop them, go right ahead. Guys, moving on to number 8. Okay, we're going to go to AJ's team, name still loading. It's kind of a cool name, actually. This team, look, I think it's actually a pretty good team. The reason that it is low, in my opinion, and my power rankings, is for a couple of reasons. One, really young, really boomer bust potential here, right? Jaden Daniels going into his sophomore year of a quarterback. We all know how that goes in terms of quarterback trends. We could see a regression. Marion Hampton, who I think is going to be an absolute freaking stud. We just don't know, right? Najee Harris could be a pain in the ass. Jerry Jeudy and Njoku from the Browns with Joe Flacco starting. We think that's good, but we also saw Joe Flacco play on the Colts last year and it didn't go good. So I don't know. I have to wait and see on that. Keon Coleman, we expect a boom this year, I should say. And again, we just have to wait and see. There's so many wait and see guys on this team. Even Puka Nacua, you have to wait and see with Stafford's injury. But that's why I'm going to put him at number 8. Again, this team is good. I think the top 8 teams I think a lot of teams are good. And Tyler made the comment to me, everyone's pretty much got a top 3 guy, like a 3-headed monster, and that's true. I mean, each team's a little different with the positions, but everyone's got really good players. Everyone's got, I think, good team structure, but everyone also has their weaknesses. And although their weaknesses may not be eyesores like the tight end position like mine, their weaknesses can be stacks. Their weaknesses can be bust potential, you know, lack of boom potential, right? They're just old, like Dom's team. There's those factors that go into it. So I think just the weakness for this AJ team is the stack of Jerry Jeudy and Njoku, and we just don't fully know the floor of this team yet. So at number 7, guys, I'm going to be going to our defending champion, the Dogs. And that's Tyler's team, man. Number 1 overall pick went with Bijan Robinson, and then round 2 went T. Higgins. I'm going to be, and this is my opinion, and we're all allowed to have our opinions. I don't think it pays off a lot to draft a team's wide receiver 2 a round after we took their wide receiver 1, especially when their name is Jamar Chase, right? He's a commanding guy. Again, don't know the stats on it, but whenever you have 2 top tier rounds, right, like at least top 3 rounds of ADP for 2 wide receivers on the same team, I don't know how often those 2 pay off, because that's a steep price. Like, you're basically paying for T. Higgins at a wide receiver 1 price, but he's the wide receiver 2 on his team. I don't know about that. Trey McBride went in the 3rd round, which is a good pick. But then you went with Travion Henderson, who we expect to be good, but we don't know for sure. You took Travis Hunter, who could be good, but we don't know for sure. You took Joe Burrow to stack with T. Higgins. I like that. And then Emeka Egbuka, I think he's a slam dunk pick this year. You made the comment, it's your Brian Thomas Jr. of this year, and I 100% agree with that. He has everything written up to be great for you this year. And then old man Adam Thielen sliding into that last flex spot. I'm assuming if Juwan Jennings is cleared to play, you will put him there because I don't know. I don't see Adam Thielen being a good fantasy option, especially towards the middle to late of the season. I like the team. I think there's a lot of risks on this team. I think, again, maybe you could switch 7 and 8 with AJ, but I mean, the boom is there with Bijan and Trey McBride and Egbuka, but then the bust is there with Travion and Travis Hunter. And T. Higgins. I'm scared about T. Higgins going in round 2. You know, I get it was late round 2. I get that. So we could have argued top, the 3rd round pick or whatever. But again, I just don't know how good the ADP plays for you and how good of the return you get on a guy you took early round like that. I just don't know. So, but number 7's not bad in my opinion. Number 6, guys. This might be an interesting take. This might be a really interesting take, but I'm going Team Didi. The highest projected team this week, actually. And again, this might be a hot take, but I don't like the way you drafted. Lamar Jackson as your quarterback, Saquon Barkley as your running back, and then Brock Bowers as your tight end. Look, that three-headed monster sounds pretty good, but you took them in the first 3 rounds, and everybody knows you don't go 2 onesies in the early rounds. That's just a fantasy no-no. Not, an unwritten rule, kind of like it's just efficiency standards, right? And that is going to be hard to call yourself out of. Now, look, I get it. Your projection is high right now because Xavier Worthy, which is good for you. He's going to be solid for the first 6 weeks. James Conner, old. Calvin Ridley, should be good, but he's going to have a tough first couple weeks with Cam Ward kind of gelling. Jacoby Myers and Ricky Pearsall. Now, those 2 guys, I think, could be good flexes. Overall, you're going to be rocking with your starting lineup. You just are. And do I think that this team, when I say this is the 6th best team, I'm not saying that because of week 1. I'm saying that because of the middle to late season. When Rashee Rice comes back, what happens to Xavier Worthy? Can James Conner stay healthy? Can Brock Bowers, Lamar, and Saquon all perform the way they did last year? Because that's why they had such high price tags. I don't know. Right? I just don't. I'm not confident in that long-term wise. Now, can you make trades? Absolutely. You have great assets to make trades. But for weeks, 8 to 14, where is this team at? Where is this team at weeks 8 to 14? Because it's going to come a time where there's a roadblock for this team. And Team Didi, you're going to have a decision. But overall, look, gas yourself up on the high projection. I would too. I'm a big projection guy. I like them. A lot of red flags with this team. Let's go to number 5 here, guys. Number 5. Shooter McGavin's breakfast. All right, Judson Holland. Overall, pretty decent draft. But another issue with, Tyler. Okay? And that kind of stems from Devontae Adams. Another thing, right? How often does players pay off for their high draft position when you took 2 wide receivers from the same team in the first 3 rounds? On top of that, Devontae Adams is old. He's a clear number 2, and Matt Stafford has injury concerns, right? So there's a lot of questions with that, and you had a round 3 price tag for him. Now, I think it was the end of the 3rd, so it's a little bit better, but still. Kyler Murray, Ashton Genty, I think those can be good plays, especially in the round that you got Kyler, which I think was the round I was going to take Kyler, so thanks a lot. 8th round's pretty good. Ashton Genty should be very good. Alvin Kamara, old. Nico Collins should be very good, but there is some concerns with our Texans offensive line, so how does that hinder the pass game? I don't know. And then old man Travis Kelce, but Tucker Kraft's on the bench because fuck you, Judson, you took my guy. Thanks a lot. I will say, the reason that Judson is so high on my list is because I think he has the best flex room in the entire league with Ted McMillan and George Pickens. 2, I think, high upside guys, especially where you drafted Pickens. He can only pretty much go up from there. Right? I believe it was the 6th or 7th round for Pickens. It was the 6th round. With that price tag, that's a great pick. you're going to be able to get huge upside potential for Pickens, who's going to be your flex guy. That's fantastic. On top of that, you also got Ted McMillan, who Dave Canales loves to feed the wide receiver runs the ball. As long as he can stay healthy, he's going to be really solid. Big concerns, though. Alvin Kamara, Devontae Adams, Travis Kelce. This is 2018. I'd be scared as shit of this team, but it's 2025. Okay? Big concerns there, and I think that's why you did take Tucker Kraft. I do think that's why you loaded up on the young receivers in case Devontae Adams falls off, and I get that, 100%. Guys, top 4 now, and we're going to go right into this with Mr. 12-man blitz coming in at number 4. Low projection, but I'm not super worried about it. Colin Doyle's newly named team, 12-man blitz. Look, spearheaded by the big 3 of Josh Allen, Jamar Chase, and Ladd McConkey. Absolutely love that top 3. I think that's a lot of upside there. The problems come, in my opinion, with Swift, Pollard, and Warren. Okay, those 3 running backs, there's a lot of I don't knows in there, right? Now, Jaylen Warren did just get paid, so that helps that out a little bit. Tony Pollard should be good early season, should be very good early season with Tajay Spears going down. And DeAndre Swift, we project he's going to be good with Ben Johnson again, but you never know with a new offense, and you never know with a guy like Swift who could get phased out in favor of a heavy pass game or some random running back they find off the street, because sometimes that happens, right? But all in all, I think it's a pretty decent team. Jamar Chase, Ladd McConkey, Chris Olave for the wide receiver room. I don't like Chris Olave at all because I don't trust anyone on the Saints this year. But as your last flex play, it's not a bad decision there. And also, you have Deebo Samuel to slide in if you need to. Josh Allen, obviously, reigning MVP. He's going to be fantastic for you. And I like the upside on this team. I like it a lot. I think it's a safe team. I think the floor for your team is going to be probably, 100, 105 points a week. And there's the boom weeks with Jamar Chase. That's going to get you, he's going to get you 40 points, 50 points. Josh Allen's going to get you 30, 40, 50 points. Is there a lot of upside with Swift and Pollard? No, but it's a decent floor. You're going to get probably at least 10 points a week out of both. So there's 20 there, right? So you're going to be relying heavily on the wide receivers and Josh Allen, but that's expected. Those are your top 3 picks. You need that to happen, right? But again, though, just the later round guys that you got besides Trey Benson, I don't see a ton of upside. Jaden Reed, I don't see it. Hunter Henry and Demario Douglas, I don't see the high upside. But again, it's going to be a good team. So I got Colin here at number 4. Number 3, guys. Number 3, I have Kent Chubb Check, officially his name. And he went for the Dom Nofo strategy of going just mega running backs. CMC and Jonathan Taylor and Kenneth Walker, by far and away the best running back room in our league this year. But that's expected. That was his, I believe, first 3 picks. So then he goes and gets Terry McLaurin and Devontae Smith and Michael Pittman to be his wide receiver room. That I don't know too much about. Okay, Terry McLaurin, I think that he reached his ceiling last year with all those touchdowns he had. He's not going to be the PPR guy like Deebo would, if you know what I'm saying. Like, he's going to be the downfield. He's going to be the chunk play, but he's still going to be very involved, right? He's probably going to average 6 catches more than he would get 11 catches in a game, if that makes any sense. Like, he's not going to go off for those monster games, receptions-wise, to be the yardage guy, which is fine. That's totally fine. Wait, I don't know if you love that as your wide receiver one. Devontae Smith, kind of the same deal, especially with A.J. Brown still there. Now you have Baker coming back, you have Michael Pittman there, and you have Mark Andrews. I'm still completely out on Mark Andrews because fuck that guy. He screwed me my last season. I can't get the tight end position. I cannot get it. It's so frustrating. But Michael Pittman there, we'll have to see. I don't know how that'll go with Daniel Jones / Anthony Richardson. And, you're stacking that with Jonathan Taylor. Could you play Keenan Allen or Hollywood Brown there in that last flex? Yes. But no backup running backs besides Mixon, who's on IR. Chris Godwin, who knows when he's coming back, week 5, but then he's going to be injured. I don't know. Although I don't love the wide receivers, I think that they're pretty good for where he got them. And I think that I think these running backs are super high upside. I think Christian McCaffrey's league winning. I think Jonathan Taylor is league winning. I think Kenneth Walker is league winning. I think all those 3 running backs could be running back 1 when it's all said and done. So that's why I'm going to give the edge to Mez here for pause on that. I'm going to let Mez be number 3. I like the team. I don't know. Maybe this is another hot take of mine, but I think with those 3 running backs and the potential floors of McLaurin and Smith, I think he can manage. At number 2, guys, and I really don't want to say this because I absolutely hate this person. I think he sucks. I think he talks too much shit, and like I said, he's just really bad. He's really bad at fantasy football, but I have the Evil Empire coming in at number 2. The one big weakness that I see on this team is Rashid Shaheed in the flex 2 spot. Now, granted, that's just a placeholder for Rashid Rice and Jordan Addison, which I get that. Great pick there by Rashid Rice in the 6th or 7th round. I think he could have waited, but he went and got his guy, and I respect that. So he's going to be playing for week 6. And the bad thing for us, and me especially as a certified hater, is that his team is good enough to get to week 6. This kind of happened last year. He thought he had a good enough team to get to Christian McCaffrey coming back from injury, and it did not happen. Okay, that's why we made fun of him for it. He did not have a good enough team to get him to the injury return of Christian McCaffrey, but he has a good enough team this year to return for Rashid Rice. And when that happens, he's going to have Drake London, Tyreek Hill, and Rashid Rice starting. That's going to be an issue for the rest of the league. I'm just telling you right now, okay? On top of Jahmyr Gibbs and Jalen Hurts, that's really, really good. That's a really, really good team. Evan Ingram, I'm not super sold on, but maybe he can get away with it. Rumadunze, I think, is a really good team, too. I think this might be Chris's year, guys. I think, barring injuries, right, Tyreek Hill's already injured. I think this could be Chris's year. So, you could probably honestly put this team at number 1 if you wanted to. If you said, hey, this is Chris's team number 1, I would not argue with you, because it probably is. But we just hate him as a manager, and we hate him. So we don't want to do that. But I got to be fair. I got to be subjective. I got to be objective. I got to be fair. And fairness is telling me to say that the Evil Empire finally nailed the draft again, but finally nailed it, and he's going to have his year. I think this is his year. So that leaves me at number 1, guys. I'm going to put Brock Lambert's team at number 1. The reason I'm putting this team at number 1 is because he flat out just took all the players I liked. Like, he got all the players I wanted. Personally, I mean, look, Bo Nix, not super sold on because of the sophomore slump potential. Like I said, with Jaden Daniels, we all know how that goes with quarterback trends, and sophomore slumps are big. Just ask CJ Stroud. But I do love Josh Jacobs as his RB1. I love James Cook as your RB2. If you took James Cook as your RB1, I think it's terrible. But as an RB2, that's pretty solid. On top of that, you got Justin Jefferson as wide receiver 1, who we all know Jet is. And then Marvin Harrison is your wide receiver 2. That's a great pick. I wanted him. He has a huge upside this year. He could be a wide receiver 1, and I think he will be, but you get him in your 2nd spot. That's pretty nice. On top of Tyler Warren, who obviously has league-winning upside. I think we all knew about Tyler Warren going into the draft. Brock was just smart enough to draft him. Good for you, dude. And then Cortland Sutton to stack with Bo Nix. That kind of helps with the quarterback play of Bo Nix. Is Cortland Sutton, did he get his ceiling last year? Potentially, okay, because he had tons of touchdowns late year, beginning of the year, if you guys remember, wasn't that great, but once they started clicking, it was going really well. But it was another Terry McLaurin situation to where all those touchdowns, it could be honestly a red flag. Is it a red flag going into year 2? I don't know. Where you got him, I think is still good. Like, you got him in the 5th round, which is way better than, you know, people could have priced him at. If he was going in the 4th or 3rd, like Terry McLaurin was, I don't know about that. But 5th round, I think it's a good play. I think it was actually a late 5th round pick too, if I'm not mistaken. So that's even better. And then lastly, Jerome Ford and flex, which isn't great, but for now it's fine. And he also has Matthew Golden and Javonte Williams, which I think they can slide into that last flex spot at any point. So I think that, guys, is the number 1 team in the league, in my opinion. If you want to put the Evil Empire at number 1, I would not hate you for that either. The more I kind of talk about it, the more I look at it, the more I'm like, yeah, that's a pretty good team. I'm be honest, it is. And again, we hate Chris because he's a piece of shit, but he drafted really well this year. So Brock and Chris, those are 2 of my early favorites. for this championship, preseason odds. So let's now, guys, go to matchups of this week with the power rankings now completed and the primetime matchup still to come. Alright guys, we're going to be going into the matchups for this week, and I already recorded this and the audio did not pick up, and I got to get this out, so we're not going to go as in depth as I was going to, so sorry about that. Kind of doing things on the fly here, but first matchup of the week, we got the Guardians of Your Mom's House taking on Bucky's Backpack, 115.8 to 117.7. I think the main thing about this game is what Denver running back is going to score more points. And I think the winner of that contest is going to be the winner of this matchup, because I think overall these teams are pretty even in terms of early season projections, early season kind of situations. So who's going to win, RJ Harvey or J.K. Dobbins? J.K. Dobbins is projected about 11. RJ Harvey is projected about 13. A lot of uncertainty there. No one really knows. So I don't know. I'm going to go with Guardians to pick up this win, and another big reason is I just love the wide receiver matchups this week. Next up, Team DD taking on Name Still Loading, 129.6, the highest of the week, and Name Still Loading 120 basically. Super high projection total by Team DD. Don't really know why, but I think it's because early season, like I mentioned in the power rankings, his projection total is going to be super inflated with James Conner, Xavier Worthy, obviously Saquon, Brock, and Lamar. Is that enough to take down Name Still Loading? Absolutely. I think Name Still Loading is still going to be a good team this year. I just don't know, boom or bust wise, what's their floor, how good can they perform, and when you're going against Team DD, this is probably the worst time to go against them because, like I said, the early season he's going to steamroll teams. So, I have Austin winning week 1. Next up, 12-man blitz taking on Dom's Girth. And it's 115.3 to 116.2, a low projection total game, but I don't really know why, because I think this will be a high-scoring game, actually. I like Josh Allen, obviously Jamar Chase, Lad McConkey, basically taking on Derrick Henry, Brian Thomas, and Mike Evans. I don't love that top 3 at all, guys. You know this, I've said it a million times at this point, and I'm scared of it. I don't have any faith. I don't care what his projection total says because I think it's super inflated. I think realistically this team could be projected less than 110 points no more than 2 weeks from now. As for 12-man blitz, I love his guys. I like his players. I like the opportunities this week. Obviously some tough matchups with Pollard and Allen and Ladd and Jaylen Warren. But can they overcome them? I think so. So I'm going to take 12-man blitz to win this week. Again, I just have no faith in Dom's Girth whatsoever. Next up, Shooter McGavin's Breakfast taking on Poopskin, 122.1 to 117 flat. Antonio Mamani's Detroit Lions, basically, they have to go and play Green Bay with a Micah Parsons now defense at it. And that's just a tough matchup. On the road especially, week 1, new offensive coordinator. We don't really know how that offense is going to be yet, and you're going to roll out 3 Detroit Lions. On top of that, you're going to roll out 2 Vikings players on Monday night against the Bears with an unproven J.J. McCarthy at quarterback. So, I don't know. I don't know how this is going to go. Devon Achane, hopefully he stays healthy, and Troop Hubbard, he's going to be fine. But as for Shooter McGavin's Breakfast, look, I said it in the preseason power rankings. I get it. It's not a sexy team, I don't think. I think it's a Judson Holland team, if that makes any sense. It's not a sexy team, but it is going to be a safe team. And I'm going to take Shooter McGavin's Breakfast to win week 1 over Poopskin because I just have no faith in the Lions this week to perform well enough to support 3 fantasy players. And finally, I'm going to go with Kent Chubb Check taking on Brockzilla, 120.9 to 120.9 even. Completely 50-50 split here. Interesting. I think this game is actually going to be pretty even. It's the battle of the running backs versus the battle of the receivers. But the thing is, I think Brock's running backs are better than Mez's receivers, if that makes any sense at all. It also kind of comes down to quarterback play here. Baker Mayfield against Atlanta versus Bo Nix against Tennessee. We'll see how that goes for Bo Nix. I'm not super high on him this year, and it's a tough week 1 matchup, although at home. I'm going to go with Brockzilla to win this game because I just think, like I said, his running backs are better than the wide receivers on Mez's team. Now, Mez's team's receivers have good matchups, but I'm going to go with talent this week, in my opinion. So I'm going to go with Brock's team to win against Can't Chubb Check. But again, this is an absolute coin flip, and even ESPN is saying that. So that means, guys, we're going to go to the prime time game of the week. And it's with the defending champions, the Dogs, taking on the Evil Empire, 121.9 to 117.8. I don't know why the Dogs have such a high projection total. I think if you were to ask Tyler, he wouldn't like it either. You have so many unproven guys with high projection totals, like Travion Henderson. He's projected 14.3. Travis Hunter is projected 13, I believe. And then you have Egbuka, who I think will be really good, is projected 13.5. So there's a lot of unproven guys. On top of Adam Thielen going in there, who hasn't been in the offense for more than a month, and now he's just going to slide right in with a rookie quarterback who he doesn't know to play well. I don't know how that's going to work out for him, right? Obviously, Joe Burrow and Bijan are going to be great, and Trey McBride also, but when you look at the Evil Empire guys, they just look deadly, man. Jalen Hurts and Jahmyr Gibbs, love that. Breece Hall, end of season, I don't know, but early season, I'm kind of on board with. Drake London, I think, has wide receiver 1 upside. Obviously, Tyreek Hill, old, but could, for his wide receiver 2, that's great. And then Rome Odunze, I think that's a great wide receiver room. I think they're going to be good this week too. Again, just get to week 6 or week 7 for Rashee Rice to come back. But I think it has enough to do it, and it starts off with a strong week 1. And I think the Evil Empire is going to start off 2025 with authority. I think it's going to start off with some hunger to him, okay? He has never had a winning season in this league, and I think this is the year he does it. It's a great team on paper. Great drafted team with a low projection total. Again, I don't know why. But I'm going to go with the Evil Empire to spoil the ring ceremony of the Dogs for week 1 here. Now again, Chris, you still suck, and I still hate you, and I think you're bad at fantasy. But this is going to be a good win for you. It's going to be a good win. And I can't wait for you to get the arrogant, cocky head about it. So, let's go through the picks one more time, guys. If you guys don't remember, I had an even 42-42 record last year. Before that, winning record, obviously. So I'm going to actually make a bet. I'm going to make a bet with you guys, and it's going to be, if I don't get a winning record this year in the picks, then I will do something, or I'll buy something for the league or whatever. But I'm confident that I can get wins correctly this year, as I didn't really last year. I took last wins last year. I think this week I'm kind of playing it more safe. So again, winning record, I'll bet. I'll buy some for the league, or I'll do some, either one. Let's go through the picks again, though. Guardians of Your Mom's House, I have taken down Buggy's Backpack. I have Team Didi beating, name still loading. I have 12-Man Blitz beating Dom's Girth. I have Shooter McGavin's Breakfast beating Poopskin. And then for the final 3 o'clock matchup, I have Brockzilla taking down Can't Chubb Check. And then for the primetime game of the week, we have the Evil Empire taking down the Dogs. So those are my picks for week 1. That was my preseason / week 1 / post-draft power rankings, and I hope you guys enjoyed all of that. If you guys have any suggestions for any segments this year, if you guys have anything you want to see more or less of, let me know. And yeah, I think this is going to be a great season, guys. If you have a tight end, trade me him. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.